Well, thank you very much. I don't have prepared remarks. This is really coming from my heart, and I've been very, very concerned about the direction that Illinois has taken. My family has been in Illinois for 150 years, all in the Fox Valley area. I would like to remain there for the rest of my life and see my children, 3 of whom do live in that area, be able to continue to live in that area. But I fear that our legislature has been doing more and more things to make Illinois very anti-business, create more difficulties, driving people out of the state of Illinois. I think we know Illinois is the only state that has lost population for the last 3 years in a row. We've lost businesses, we've lost jobs. That has to stop, because if we have declining population, we're not going to be able to honor the pension obligations that this legislature has created over the last 20 or 30 years. Something has to change. I believe that we need to anticipate that now rather than later on. What brought this specific to mind was one more piece of what I would call very bad legislation, which is Senate Bill 2262. Understand what this Senate bill does. Managed care operators, one in particular, I believe there are 6, and I'm not an expert in this particular area. I believe I'm an expert on business and the economy, but not specifically healthcare, but I'm learning. Here's a perfect example of special interest legislation where one of our 6 providers initially created a 50% reduction in the reimbursement rate for disposable medical equipment. These are things like providing oxygen or walkers or canes or things of that nature. As a result of that, one of the providers of those disposable medical equipment came to the legislature to prevent the company from paying a lower rate. Now, lower rate obviously over a period of time would save taxpayer money, but this company felt they really couldn't compete at that rate. If a company cannot provide that type of equipment at the most competitive price, they need to find other markets for the equipment or be in a different business. It's not the business of government to protect every particular business who can't compete. This is so fundamentally wrong, and unfortunately so fundamentally Illinois. It has to change. It has to stop. We can't keep on going like this, or our state is headed for increasingly terrible financial situations. I believe our governor has stood up trying to do the right things to make changes, being fought tooth and nail at every step. Interestingly, I think that one of the major problems that our legislature has today is there's great pressure on Democrats to support Democrat bills, Republicans to support Republican bills. We have to change that. We have to have our legislators beginning to say, I think this is a good bill for Illinois. I don't care if it's a Republican bill or a Democrat bill. Or we have to say, this is a bad bill for the state of Illinois. I don't care if it's a Republican bill or a Democrat bill. We've got to vote against it because it's a bad bill. This legislation, the Senate Bill 2262, is clearly a bad bill. It's special interest legislation put forward by one person who didn't want to compete at the lower rate. That can't go on. That has to stop. We as legislators have to begin to look at what is good.